Do I say not as I do? Aptly describes the behavior of some IRS workers. Nearly 1,600 of them willingly evaded paying their taxes over a 10-year period. A new Inspector General report found some were even rewarded with promotions and bonuses while they weren't paying their taxes. And then there's the Defense Department report showing Pentagon employees used government-issued credit cards at casinos and strip clubs. Has the government gone wild? Let's ask Chris Edwards, Director of Tax Policy Studies at the Cato Institute and editor of downsizinggovernment.org. He joins us now on the exchange line. Chris, good afternoon to you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, let's start with the IRS. It's not a big percentage number of employees who went rogue here, if that's all there is, but there's got to be some disheartening news that they weren't punished. How could that happen?
Absolutely. Only 25% of the people who were found cheating on their taxes here were fired. It should have, of course, been 100%. When managers found out that these employees were breaking the law, of course, taking actions directly counter to the mission of their agency, they ought to have been fired immediately. And this, there's a general problem in the federal government that employees are rarely fired for misconduct or poor performance and that sort of thing. In fact, if you look at the detailed data, the firing rate in the federal government is only 1/6 as high as the firing rate in the private sector in the United States. So, if a think tank employee like me or a media employee like you,
sure,
we don't perform, we get fired. Unfortunately, that does not happen in the government.
Why is that? What is the protection that these employees have?
Just very high civil service protections. This is very difficult. Some managers do want to get rid of bad employees, but there's just a massive amount of paperwork and hassles you have to go through to fire these workers. So generally, what managers do is they just tend to push these workers aside, let them sit in a corner and not do any work so that they don't interfere with the good employees.
They put them in a rubber room.
One of the issues here is that good federal workers want to get rid of these bad employees, but in surveys of government workers, they often say that their agencies do a really lousy job of getting rid of the bad employees, and it hurts general morale.
What does the IRS have to do here? This is an agency that has one black eye after another.
I think the general problem in the federal government is that it's too big and it's too massive to properly manage. I mean, a startling statistic is that the federal government now, with a $4 trillion budget, is actually 100 times bigger than a typical mid-sized state government in the United States. So the federal government has got so large, it's just become
not manageable.
Impossible to manage.
And then you have this story of people in the Defense Department using credit cards at strip clubs. I don't think they're doing much defense at the strip clubs. Something about $1 million or so. This is not a small deal.
That's right, and actually the similarity between the two stories is that we would not know about them if it wasn't for the Inspector General, the auditor in these two federal agencies, doing their job and proactively digging out this waste and abuse. And I think if one thing comes out of both of these stories is that we need stronger inspector generals in the federal government. We need more proactive inspector generals, and that is the one area, frankly, in the federal government I would want to increase spending on is the IGs, because all these stories of abuse, whenever they occur, you wonder, gee, I wonder whether that's occurring at all these other agencies as well. The thing with the Pentagon credit card abuse is that I wonder why so many people in the government need credit cards. I mean, most workers in the federal government, they basically have desk jobs. They work on their computer all day. What do they need government?
Because, Chris, they need the credit cards to go to the strip clubs. I mean, there's the answer. Chris Edwards at the Cato Institute. Thank you. We'll have you back on again soon. Appreciate it. Ahead, will the lights go down on Broadway? The feds threatened to pull the plug on Times Square. You're watching Arise Exchange.